Good morning on a Saturday. Dave of the AM, the Cornbread Man, Southern Patriots podcast. How are you doing? We got some programming coming this morning with the Biscuit Boy and with Dean. Got the racing hours. Got a special guest. Dusty from Poff Racing will be on from the great state of Ohio. It is a wonderful morning, a little brisk as the weather goes, but nothing. We're not like many people across the country who have still massive amounts of snow on the ground. Just want to hit a few odds and ends this morning, just chit chatting really, but catching up on a little bit of news. And there was a little bit of controversy about a post that found its way up on the president's site on True Social. It has since been removed. Bad move, whoever put it up. The White House says he didn't know about the video, but it was a racist video, and it has caused a lot of anger. And even Senator Tim Scott, Republican, South Carolina, African American, demanded that he take it down. It has since been taken down. It won't mention. I'm not going to even mention. But it mentioned the Obamas in a very, very bad light. And, we're just better than that. We don't need to do that. If he didn't know about it, he needs to fire somebody, I would say. Listen, we're free to have whatever you want, but you have to pay the consequences when you do things that are wrongs people, and you face that. And no matter, I don't care for them, their politics at all, but this is very distasteful. It shouldn't have been done. This is the one problem that the president has had from the very beginning and early on was worse. He's got much better at it, but the post on his True Social, he kind of goes around the official channels and has done that. First president that I can remember ever. It's the world we live in. It'll continue to happen. He sort of set the trend on that, but they go to their own personal pages to make comments and not their official channels, which has a lot more restriction to it and things that they can't do. So he was the first one to do that. It's been effective for him in many ways, and he does get messaging to the people really quickly. In fact, in the middle of the night, very early in the morning, he's an early riser. He is known daily to post things, but he does this throughout the day. I didn't see it. I do sometimes. I don't go every comment that he makes. Usually I'll take the news as it comes. And I'll just, I'll see it posted somewhere else. But at times I do go over and review the post, and it was just a bad move. And we just don't need that. I mean, this is ridiculous for whoever. If it was him, if it was a staffer, I don't know. Who knows who runs these things? There's no doubt he is absolutely posting on his own channel many times, but we have the midterms coming up, and it's like we need some wins right now. Some of these races are very tight, and we don't need controversy. I mean, you want to go in with doing because the media is going to make it controversial anyway. You don't need to give them a football and give them a touchdown. Just turn it over. Good morning, Broski. I just think that it's a fine line. He has his own personal beliefs or feelings. He's a big jokester. I get it. This went over the line. And, people can say it didn't. They can say whatever. But as a sitting president, you just can't do that. And if somebody did it for him, like I said, I expect him to be fired. Somebody's got to fall on the sword. But, I don't buy the story. I think he knows everything that goes on with that channel. And, he went there. He went over the line. He's removed it. The fact that he removed it is how much pressure was put on him. Because how many times do you see the president backing off of anything? This just tells you, well, Broski, it's just a racial comment. I mean, it's just, you can't do that. There's an old history there. And whether we agree with that or not, that's not even the point of what I'm saying this morning. What I'm saying is, as a president or as any leader, you have to not go there, even for humor and stuff. We expect that. It's called being a statesman. And the president likes to get in the gutter sometimes. He likes to say things that are very controversial. Really, I would just really wish, this is for me, this is for Dave. I really wish he would stop all the personal attacks on anybody. promote yourself. I've always said by the time, really way past now, but certainly within the mid of the midterms, by then a president should never be looking back and continuing to poke at the previous administration. It's your baby now. You deal with it. He loves to do that. He goes all the way back to his first time as president. Should have been the second time, I'm sure, because of the fraud that we have seen. But he has always done this, and every administration for the last few have done that, where they just continue to blame the previous administration. Okay, you can come in and say it was a mess. Everyone says it. Every president. But by the midterms, you own it. The buck stops there, as Biden liked to say. The buck stops there, and I just say you can't. You got to own it. It's yours now. You're the president. Whether it's good or bad or indifferent, and you're still working on stuff, and it takes time. I get it. But continue to push forward. Don't look back. And so his visions have always. He's had really good vision for a lot of stuff that he's doing. But sometimes it's like he's at the frat house, and they're having, they're well into 2 cases of beer, and they just start slinging. He starts slinging around these zingers and stuff like that. For my money, I just rather see him deal with the issues at hand. We got tons of them. Be out there and be positive for what's going on. The rallies that he's doing, that will set up well. We don't need him to tear down the previous administrations. We know what they were. We know what they did. And it was just, to me, it was just something that you should not do. Broski, you just can't. I get it. You have your way of thinking about that. I'm telling you that the populace at large is never going to buy that. They're never going to look at that and say it's a pass. And I don't know anybody that would, they might lie to me, but I don't know anybody in my circle that would say that was a good move. Nobody. They would say, even if they thought it was funny, in a crass kind of way or whatever, they would never say it was a good move. They would say, better leave that one alone. I just don't know anybody that is fully in the camp that would say, I'm not saying they're not out there. I'm not saying that maybe they would not say it to me, but I'm just looking at it from a purely the media. You paint the picture. You paint the picture of what it to look like. Media's going to do what they do, but you just handed them an easy one. You handed them something, and I'm honestly surprised it hasn't got more traction. I'm honestly surprised. I hadn't even heard about it till this morning. But I was busy yesterday. I didn't really spend a lot of time looking at news. I was doing a lot of other things. I looked a little bit, read the article, and again, the very fact that one of your African American senators that really backs you always. Every time he goes right down the line, and he's demanding you pull it down. Well, one, it just says where he's at with that, and it says also where his constituency is at, and he's getting his phone rung off the hook. Emails are coming in. They're saying, "Hey, this is wrong. Get it down." So I think we have a hard time finding statesmen anymore. I just think that we find. And I'd say this for either side. I think there's very limited anymore those that do things. I think the president, everybody says, okay, he's lost money since he's been there. So maybe they could point to that and say it's a statesman kind of thing. I like the thing he's doing to bring patriotism back to the country. Those are statesman kind of things. I get that. But at the same thing, it's like he flips a switch and he just says things that to me, leave them in the cigar room. I mean, your buddies, it's the room where all the guys would say something they've never said around the women. It happened. It happens. Men get around. I'm not saying women don't do it too, but they would never say certain things in mixed company. They would never say it around kids. They'd never say it around their mom or something. They wouldn't do it. I expect my presidents, whoever they are, I don't care which party, I expect them to have a certain level of that as they are leading the country because they represent every one of us as a constitutional republic. I don't want to see the frat house talk out of him. I really don't. And if others do, that's fine. That's okay because this is freedom. And I'm not here to tell anybody how, and I never do. I tell people this all the time. I get heck about stuff sometimes about what people say. And I say, listen, I don't tell anybody how to talk. I don't. I'm not telling him how to talk. I'm saying for me, I wish you'd just left it alone. Not that he said it, but he put the video up. And I just think that to me, it's something we don't need. It's like if you ever said anything in a mix, a crowded room, and you thought it was going to be funny, and it fell flatter than flat, and you went, oh, okay, wish I could pull that back. Too late. And you get that, somebody you really respect, it looks at you, gives you a look like, hey, come on, man. And you're like, okay, not appropriate, not acceptable. I think we probably all had something joking around. That's why I'm very careful with humor. I'm very careful with humor here. I'm very careful with, I've said probably, my mouth has gotten me in trouble because, not that I will go around talking gutter, but I've danced on the edge of that sometimes. That's the flesh part of me. But in my life before I was, living for Christ, there's been a couple of times where I said something and I went, immediately knew that was not appropriate. And I could never pull it back. I couldn't say, oops, I need a do-over here. It's out there. And I just think the president has to, not that he cares. I mean, the president could care less this morning. He absolutely would not think that there's anything, that he did anything wrong. But public pressure, political and public pressure, he pulled it down. So why did he pull it down? Well, because it's getting ugly. It was getting to be an ugly story, and he pulled it down. And how often have you seen the president pull down anything that he's put on True Social? He's put some pretty crass stuff. Sometimes I just shake my head myself. I'm like, well, I just leave it alone. Again, it's like he's posting. There is a crowd that would love that. They would love him to do more of it. And again, I'm saying for me, this is for Dave. I'm just saying, because I got an opinion like anybody else. For me, I wish that he would leave that kind of stuff to the side. Way back when, I was one of those that said, could somebody please take the Twitter app away from the president? Because he was like a kid in a candy store in the first term when he was just slamming that stuff. And it's like he wasn't even thinking. He's just throwing one after another. And sometimes, like, could we just take the phone away from the kid? Could we penalize him? Could we put him in timeout? Take a break. You lost your phone privileges for a month. He has changed a little bit. He's gotten a little bit better about it, but then he just goes for the gutter on this one. He goes for the gutter, and that is again, no matter what anybody thinks, because you have a right to feel what you feel about that. But to the populace at large, that is highly offensive. And it's not just to one group. It's highly offensive. It has very old racial connotations to it, and he needs to leave it alone. Again, there are things out there that I think nowadays that we need to get past that are still, you have to watch what you say. I mean, there have even been entertainers that have been pressured by people to give up a very good paying gig because it was used in times of old in a very bad way. And I won't even mention the artist, but there was an artist who received pressure from within, her own community. Like, what are you doing? We have, this has been something bad that's been pushed at us for decades. Could we just, and she dropped the campaign. She left a good paying gig. She said, and apologized. I'm sure she hated doing that, but as and again, I get, he does, Bresky, he's that guy. He's that guy. If you say something to him, he's going to take it to another level. He's the guy that's going to make you cry. There is no, he's not in touch with his feelings. He doesn't never have a regret. He shrugs it off. It's like he's Teflon Don. I mean, he just, like, whatever, if your feelings are hurt. So for him to do this, it was all just because I'm sure his staff was saying, this is not being good. Can we just take this down? And he probably said, sure, whatever. I don't care. But I'm not saying that he feels bad about it, because I don't think he does. And to him, he's just fighting back. He's that guy. He's a street fighter. I understand all that. I get it. I'm just saying, we can't always say what we think, Jake. We can't always say, honestly, do we always say what we think? And in that context, do we always say what we think? No, because there are times. Good morning, Jake. Because there are times that we're mad, we're upset, or whatever, and we catch it, we zip the lip, and then I never really cared. I think that Abraham Lincoln had a really good, not that I like everything he did because of the war and all that, but there was a lot of parts of him that truly I could take lessons from. And one of the best things he ever did, and I think this is wise for anybody, whether you do it in this way or not, is take some time. And there were times he wanted to tell people in his administration, and especially the generals in the field, how he really felt. So he would take out a piece of paper and he would write in a letter exactly what he felt about them. He would pour out every feeling he had about it. He would put that in an envelope and put it in his desk drawer and shut it. He would wait at least one day, sometimes many more days before he came back. He'd pull that out. He would reread it, and every single time that I'm understanding is he would rewrite and say, "That's not really how I wanted to convey this," because it was tearing down more than trying to build up, and challenge them at the same time. And I think that I think we all do that, or most of us do. There's some people don't. I think we try to measure what we say. Our mouth gets us in trouble. The scriptures say, the tongue is a poison. I mean, it's a loose cannon. I mean, we have to have control of our tongues, and we have to have control of our actions. And I get it as a Christian. I've heard people say this. I've never liked this. I get what they're saying. They're upset. They will say, "I'm going to set my Christianity aside for a minute, and I'm going to lay it on the line. I'm going to tell you exactly what I think about you." Well, listen, I'm always a Christian. I can't lay that to the side. Or they might say it like this: "I almost forgot I was a Christian." Listen, if we say something we shouldn't say, it's still wrong, no matter what anybody else said. And I'm guilty. I'm guilty. Dave's guilty. I've done that where I'm like, "Oh, that's not the way I wanted to do that." Good morning, Jerry Barrett. That's not the way that I wanted to that. And so I beat myself up pretty hard because everything that I filter through, as I sit back, and I'm an analyst, man, I analyze everything I've done for months later. Every interaction that me or you have, broski, I promise you, in my mind, and anybody else in here, in my mind, I will forever. This will pop in my head. I just can't help it. It's the way I'm geared. It will pop up, and I will think about how I framed something, what I said, if I got aggravated or whatever. Could I have done this better? Should I have done this? Should I not have done this? That's just who I am. It has served me well, at least in one way, is that sometimes I will just tell people, "Hey, I'm going to have to think about this and pray about it." Sometimes people don't like that. They want to know right now, because we're in an instantaneous world. Tell me right now. I want to know how you feel about this. And sometimes I'll say, I'm not going to do it because I really want to have some time to pray about it. I want to have some time to think of what my response would be, because at the time I might be upset. That's why I have to be careful. The podcast is one of those, it's instantaneous. When we used to record way back when, all the shows were recorded. There were a couple of times we decided, strip it. Very rarely did we do that. But there were a couple of times where we thought we went over the line. We said, let's cut that. Well, when you're live, you're live. It's forever. It's on the internet forever. I had somebody respond to something I said, oh my gosh, over a year ago. Just not in a bad way, just questioning what I said, how I feel about it, juxtaposed against what's going on today. Those videos are out there. They watched a MAGA minute from a long time ago. I don't know how long ago. I was still in the old studio. And I was rewatching myself and what I said. I didn't have a problem with what I said. I thought it was good. But I think that, again, no matter what somebody is, no matter what they are, and believe me, I have plenty of problems with the Obamas. Plenty. I think they should be in jail, honestly, especially him. I think he should be in jail. But it was just tasteless beyond degree for our president to do that. Let things play out. He don't have to like them. I mean, I don't know. Probably Biden's didn't like them. Jimmy Carter and family didn't like them. I mean, there was a lot of tension there between those administrations. But all this stuff that's coming out, and I'll say, and it's not just Democrats. If there's any president that has had the level of evil, illegal activity, fraud, treason against the nation, whatever, they should be in jail. We put Jefferson Davis in jail for 2 years as a country for the secession of states in the South. There was a lot of people wanted to hang him, and Lee and all that stuff. They knew what they would have. He was, and then a couple of them were put to death, but he spent 2 years in jail. So there is precedent for putting people in jail on a high level like that. But at the same time, I just think he's, again, it's just to a level. Why go there? What it shows at them is that they're getting to you. That it's just like tit for tat. Let it go. That is we're way past that administration. Let the courts encourage the courts to fully look into it. Let the Justice Department do their job. Let's get the evidence, and then let's let them have their day in court, which is the due process for every citizen of these United States. And if he is a citizen, I don't go back to that. I don't even know. Who knows anymore? But I'm just saying that I'm just saying, broski, if you do that, you're going to pay the consequences. And if you do that on a high level like that, everybody's going to put it in a lie, and they're going to say, "I can't believe you said that." There's just some things you can't say. It's like hollering fire in a crowded theater. You have freedom of speech. You can say what you want, but you will answer for what you said. And there are some things that are just considered out of bounds, and you just don't do it. And that is one of those that's out of bounds. You just don't do it. You just can't do it. But even if others would say, "Dave, you're wrong. I can do whatever I want." Yeah, you can. I'm just saying the consequences come from that. But this is on a higher level even still. I'm not talking about the guy that's the metal worker or the lady that's the nurse or whoever. You're right to say it, but you are risking losing your job if you do something like that. And I know this happens. They will contact your employer. They're not nobody that can contact on him because nobody's going to do anything. It can do anything. But I had even things that you consider to be not confrontational or not down that road. I had a good friend who fell under investigation for a comment that he made in an Atlanta paper. And to me, it was just historically correct, conversation about history. That's all it was. This person was offended. They contacted the company and said, "Hey, listen, your guy, he's putting this stuff in the paper. I'm offended," and he come under investigation. That's how quick it can happen. And again, I just think, why go there? Why do that? We got so many fish to fry right now. Why? We don't need that. We don't need that as a nation. I want to hear about what you're going to do about, continuing to, strengthen the military, what's going on with Iran and that issue. Are we going to pull away from Ukraine? I want to know what's going to happen there. The China influence, Greenland, the border, our economy continuing to strengthen, the debt. I mean, we could just go on and on and on and on. Of all the things that he could have put on Truth Social, that's what he puts up. To me, that's just way, for me, I don't want to see it. I would not even, I'm glad it's been stripped. I wouldn't even go watch it. You know why? I don't even want that on my timeline. I don't want that in my phone. And I'm not Mr. Goody Two Shoes. I'm not perfect. I'm just saying I expect more from the president than that. Or if he's paid somebody to post stuff, I don't think anything goes on he don't know about, honestly. I think he's very in tune with what's going on. Especially, I'm not either really, broski, as far as being that. The tone of "Make America Great Again," I want that, but I'm not that. No, I'm not going to watch it. It was pulled down. I'm not going to watch it. But I'm just saying, if Tim Scott has a problem with it, I don't need to see anything. I'll say it that way. If Tim Scott, who I highly respect, he says, "Mr. President, I demand that you take that down," I don't need to see it. For me, I trust Tim Scott to be a moral guide here on this because he is much more, it affects him. And if he says that, he's always supported the president. He has always defended the president. And on this one, he demanded he take it down. I don't really need to take another step with it. For me, I'm saying for me, I don't need to look at it. I don't need to see it. I will trust Tim Scott with it. I'm just going to leave it alone at that and say, well, again, even if it's, I didn't see it. If it's way less than what people are saying, still, why go there? He doesn't need to do that. He doesn't need to put things up that's like that. you expect a little more from your president. To me, I do. I expect, and I have sat back, and there's been actually quite a few instances here in the last few months of some stuff that he has put out that I'm like, really, again, let it go, dude. I mean, I say, dude, Mr. President, let it go. Stop. Just push that away. I don't want to see it. It's just unnecessary. And it's like going out in the playground again and picking a fight with the guy that, said something about about your sister or something. You know what? Y'all had it out. It's over. You don't have to like each other. Move on. And again, for me, I'm saying for me, I just say let it go. I don't want to be a part of that, and just let it. Well, again, you have a right to feel that way. I think that he is being a statesman and saying, Mr. President, we don't need that. We just don't need that. Again, I just don't want those kind of comments from my president. That's me. That's Dave. I'm saying for me. I'm not telling anybody how to feel or anybody how to think. I'm just saying for me. My commentary is I don't want it. I don't need it. Let's move on to the issues at hand. And there is absolutely, listen to this. What positive, ask yourself this, what positive can come from that? Because I can't think of a single one. Even if everybody's oversensitive, even if everybody needs to get over it or whatever you say, what positive comes from it? It doesn't advance anything as a nation. It doesn't advance his administration. It doesn't advance us getting better as a nation and more patriotic or more together as a nation. It doesn't advance anything. It doesn't have any positivity associated to it. It's crass. It's ugly. It's a joke, but a very poor, and many would say racist joke or video or whatever, and just leave it alone. If it's not, I've always said, if you don't have any good thing to say, don't say anything. Keep your mouth shut. And I would say that to the president. If you don't have something good to say, just clamp down. We got plenty of dictators around the world. Go after them. I mean, go after, go after people out there that are, say something about the Ayatollah. I don't care. Again, I may not like the tone because this is high stakes at what we're doing, but he listen, he's much more careful about what he says about world leaders than he is on this one. Much more. He tries to find the good in people that have a very bad side to them. And yet in this one, he just goes for the belly, man. He just goes for the gutter, not the belly. He goes for the gutter. Again, it's a one thing. Again, I'm not saying even at whatever level, but what positive is it? What positive is that video? Is there a positive that you can find? I'm asking you, what positive can come from that video? No matter what you feel about it. What positive does a president get out of that? What positive press does he get from even his own party? What positive is that? So, okay, you can say that about me. I'm okay with it. It's not outrage. I'm saying I expect more. I'm not outraged. I'm not out there with a banner. If I was in a banner, I'd be calling the White. If I was outraged, I'd be calling the White House. And I have before. I've sent them communications. I would go and stand on a street corner with a sign. I've done that before. I'm not outraged. I'm saying it's not a positive thing that we need, and it just needs to be left alone. There's nothing good can come out of it. There's not one single good thing that can come out of it. And with all that we got going on, and with the preciousness of time, that's what you choose to put on your social media. Again, why? Where does it go? Where does it take us, and where does it make us better as a nation? That's what I would say. It's just a comment, not outraged. I'm just explaining myself of where I'm at. And he has consistently done this. And for me, and I've looked at everything he's put up to this point. I've seen all the stuff he's done this before, and I've been disappointed. I'll be honest. For me, I've been disappointed. And in this one, but I don't need to see it because I've seen the type of stuff that he's put out before. And I'm like, every time I just usually don't bring it up on the show because you can think what you want, man. That's your freedom to express it. But I'm just saying, I'm just talking. I'm just having a conversation. So I think I laid that out as well as I could from my opinion. I'm not telling you how to think. I didn't say anything about how you think or how you feel about it. And I'm not making a statement about it, but you're going to comments that is really, coming at me like, I'm horribly wrong on this. Okay. You have an opinion, but to say if I was outraged, I'd be red in the face and I'd be screaming. That's outrage for me. I'm just having discussion. It's just discussion. So Jerry says, lie here. Donald Trump is filling a position that should be way above the reproach that he is at the moment. I saw the video and it is unpresidential. If he and Barack Obama had that bigger problem, then they should either meet and discuss it or stay away from one another. It's my personal opinion that when a president leaves office, he should leave D.C. and go back to his home state or another state and set up his residence. You do not go right down the street and set up housekeeping like the Obamas. Yeah, I would agree. They've stayed there to manipulate the situation. And again, there's a lot of bad there. I really think he should be in jail. I mean, honestly, I just think that it would be best if for the best of the country. I go all the way back to the guns trading that they did and all him and Eric Holder and all that they did with the guns and stuff. I mean, there was a lot of stuff very early on that was criminal, and nothing was ever done about any of it. So okay, I appreciate it, broski. I appreciate it, but I'm just saying that if he pulled it down, broski, without me seeing it, what does that say for the president right now? Why did he pull it down? If it's not that bad, if he doesn't care and he's carrying a wheelbarrow full as where he goes, why did he pull it down? I think that's pretty telling. But okay, I get you. We're on track. We're good. I'm just saying. I just wanted to bring it up because I read it. I was like, let's talk about it. So in the greater discourse of that, it's more than just about that video. It's about sometimes he uses that in a very frat boy kind of way that I think it should be above. Again. And let's say this, the president, I don't know whether he's a Christian or not, but if he is, then he is serving a higher command. He does answer to someone. He answers the American people, yes, but he answers to a higher command, the highest of all commanders, our commander in chief, which is the Lord Jesus Christ. And there's times that, like I said, I've said things I'll be like, probably should have reframed that. Probably should have said that in a little bit different way. There's times that I closed the podcast that I prayed and said, that was not the way I wanted to come off. I got caught up into the moment. For me, I'm saying for me. And if I can do that, he can do that, and I just, let's move on. I mean, we got so much going on. It's not like it's going to collapse the republic. I'm not worried about that. It's not going to hurt him because he has his followers and that's not going to change. And he's not going to change the opinion. He's not going to bring a vote in. He's not going to drive a vote away. But however, for the people that's running for these down ballots in many states, in many close races, this could be damaging. That's the kind of thing. If he's going to go around and rally for the people that are running on these tickets, including the 14th where I'm at, then he has to kind of realize that hurts them. In the 14th, they won't blink. It's not going to affect the 14th whatsoever. I can tell you that. This is a fully red district. It will stay red. I don't know who's going to win. I know who they're promoting. We are, or I am personally, and I think Paul is, promoting Jenna Turnipseed. We like her, and we'd like to see her in there. We'll support whoever goes because it's going to stay red. It's not going to flip. But in some races across the United States, it's very close. And in fact, some of the polling is that the conservatives are behind. So there could be a lot of flips. And even the administration admits that some of these races are very close, and it looks like it could go bad. Even they've admitted that. So they admit that the early polling, which I'm not a big fan of polling, but everybody uses it. And there are some that I trust a little more. The what is the Tregler poll, and there's a couple of others that I think are pretty on. They've been pretty well on target most the last few elections. They look at all this data and they composite it and get an average of all of it, and the numbers don't lie. I mean, they pretty much can see. And I get the fraud, and I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about who they have called and who they have set up and said. And by the way, my phone's lighting up. I've been getting them too. If I was voting today, who would I vote for? I'm getting those on my phone from whoever. I mean, those are coming. I get at least one thing every day, probably two or three things. I get them from the candidates that's running the 14th. I get them from around the country because my name's out there enough that they know that I'm a voter. They know, I mean, they know that, and they know that I have, I clicked into their website and I'm looking at their things all across the country. I look at different races and have reached out to some. In fact, I got to reach out to my guy again in New York. We never did get hooked up, and I lost my contact with the okay, Paul was leaving me a message because maybe he don't know I'm on live. But Biscuit Boy will be here soon. He's kind of on the way, so we don't go live till 8:30 with that show. But yeah, I get inundated with those things because they're wanting to know how I would vote. And so some of them I respond back, some of them I don't. I don't know that in the grand scheme of things it matters a hill of beans. But they didn't get anything. The ones that the PACs that sent those to me were not the PACs that are interested in me voting for Jenna. So to heck with them. Oh no, but you're right about that. It didn't rise to a level of that I'm actually really shocked. So yeah, I will admit that. Yeah, I was like, that's why I was like, I didn't even hear about it. Oh, you know, there are sometimes you're out with a group of guys and somebody says, "Hey, I got a joke. You want to hear it?" I'm always like, I don't know, maybe. And sometimes I'll ask for clarification, and they'll say, "It well, Dave, you might not like it." If in that case, I'll say, "Let me step away, tell you a joke to your buddies." I do that because I don't want to hear it. Sometimes it just comes out; they don't even ask, and you're like, "Oh, okay." Sometimes it's funny, then I go, "Ooh, maybe I shouldn't have laughed at that." So, just trying to be, uh, again, not perfect, not anything like that. I'm not better than anybody because nobody's better than anybody, but I do try to be the best version that I can be as a representative, as an ambassador for Jesus Christ. Now, do I fail at that? You dang right I do. But the attempt is to be the best version I can be. And I don't do like say, well, I can't be that anyway. I might as well just do this. I don't do that. But sometimes, hey, we all lose our temper. We all get frustrated. We all say things in a way, maybe with a tone. Maybe it's a tone we're like, that's not really the tone I wanted. That's why I try to take time to think through what I'm going to say. And sometimes on here, and I've been accused of it, like you didn't say nothing. That's been said. And that's why I was trying to measure what would I say, because no matter what I said in those situations, somebody's not going to like what I say. And I was like, just like, okay, this is your scrap, go for it. But and you said that to me, I didn't say anything. Rob said it to me, you didn't say nothing. I catch heat for that. I own it. I absolutely own it, and I will say, yeah, I did. And I was quiet because it was the direction it was going. There was nothing I could say that would bring anything to light, and I just let it go. It's like watching two dogs fight. Scrap it out. And to this day, well, forever, I guess I'll pay for that because I chose not to say anything at that moment. And I had a lot to say later, but I wanted time to think about, it sometimes things just happen. They just explode, and you're like, okay, wow. So that is actually that on display for me. So I don't always respond verbally. I try to analyze that. And so probably in that instance, both people thought that I should have stood up for them. And so now I catch heat because they feel that I didn't. And I don't want to rehash it. I'm just saying that's an example of what I'm saying when I'm quiet. Because honestly, this would shock you. I am a very quiet person. Uh, People here, well, you talk a whole lot, and that sometimes I got accused of that too. You're talking too much. Maybe I did. My brain just rattle traps through stuff, just bam, 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 and I'm a little spastic that way. And I go to the next thing, and people that it serves me well in ministry, in a pulpit, I can just go, and but so I'm not perfect. Sometimes it's said things I wish I'd have said different, or maybe I wished I said things. But hey, thank you, Paul. But I will just say that normally, traditionally, which people don't believe it, I'm very quiet. I don't. I can sit in a room and just listen to people. You know what gives me unction to go forward is, and by the way, I don't think that I have anything to say on a podcast that's groundbreaking or is going to change your life, except for the message of Jesus. But that's his message. That's just me. I'm just the conduit to move that forward. I don't think I have anything that's going to change anybody's. It's all of a sudden they're going to say, "Well, we wouldn't listen to Dave." Wow, I mean, that's deep. I don't have that high opinion of myself. I just like having conversation. So for me, doing the podcast is not me thinking I'm going to come on the air and tell you how to do anything, vote, build a house, or fix your car. I can't build a house, and I can't very much fix a car. I've always said I have no talent. I'm thankful God has used me to do anything in my life. And I'm not making that up. I don't feel like I have any talent whatsoever at much things in life. I try to be the best dad I can, the best husband I can be, grandfather, employee, whatever. And sometimes people think that I have more going on, like, oh, you got something you want to say. At times they're wrong. I'm like, no, I don't. I don't have anything to say. That's right, Jerry. For those that didn't see it, because I think it deserves the stage. Perfect timing. Absolutely. And that's the whole other point. I've been called ugly by people coming into the show. I've been attacked for my hair. I've been, I'm losing my hair. I'm old. I'm fat. I'm whatever. I mean, you come out here, you get everything shoved at you. I mean, they're coming at you. They're coming after you. You got to be a pretty big boy to sit and handle it. But I don't have a high opinion of myself to say that, boy, everybody come listen to me. I just always saw it as entertaining. For those in the viewing area, everybody remembers, and thank God he's still with us, but the Hey Earl show. I loved that show. Just say, hey, Dave. And we just talk about it. That's what this is. It's just talking about it. And as much as we can, I've always said that it's you telling your story, because that's really what we wanted to do, was to capture this. I'm amazed by the talents of people. I don't have this position where I'm trying. If you say to me, I built an outbuilding this weekend, I'm going to say, wow, tell us about that. I'm not going to say, well, I'm fixing to build one. I built 20 of them. You're not going to hear that out of me. I may say, I tried that one time and I messed it up. Jerry says he's always looked better behind the camera than that's what I like about MP3. I've done quite a few there for a while. I was doing a lot of morning shows, MP3 only, and except the ones I was doing with the co-host. The other days I was doing some MP3, and I thought, well, maybe I'll do some, but again, I don't think that I don't think that I have this deep thought to say. Sometimes I have stuff I want to bring up, and it's really just throwing things on the wall and seeing what sticks. Sometimes you come into a podcast and you think, well, this would be a pretty good topic. I want to touch on it. You throw it out there, and it falls flatter than a flitter. I mean, it dies because that's not what people want to talk about. So you open up a trash can, you throw it in, you close it, and you say, okay, what direction is this show going to take? I have closed podcasts that I didn't like the direction they were going. I seemingly couldn't get it back on track, and I left. That's truth. I just said, I got to go. It's it. We're over. I'm done. That's few and far between, but it has happened. But then there's those magical times. Purely, you feel like you're flying through the air. It's such a good show, and you're like, wow. And I go and I use my wife. My wife is my sounding board, and I will ask her if she watched the show. Sometimes I'll show her something that, what do you think about this? Because she don't always watch. I don't expect her to. She's watching. I don't know. What was she watching the other day? I went back up after a show. She was watching one of them game shows. But then sometimes she'll stop in and say, "Hey." She don't watch everything that we do, but she does stay in tune. She does, and she'll give me the thumbs up or something, and she's always, wives do that. She'll always tell me of something she thought, I don't really care for it, or it wasn't that good. But she could probably say a lot of times without a doubt, but she does that for my sermons. There's been a couple of times I got another sermon when I got to the car. He's like, I don't know about that one. Like, I think you made some people mad. I'm just telling you what I felt like in the pew. Not that it wasn't truth, but maybe the way I brought it across. He's like, she's out there as the first lady. She's with the people, and she's measuring the temperature. Well, somebody said that earlier. She's measuring the temperature of the people. And there's times I went to the car and I'd be like, wow, what you think about that? And she's like, I don't think he was on it today. It's like, ooh. But then you go back to church, somebody say, boy, I really enjoyed that sermon this morning. I just look at her and she just shake her head like, I still didn't like it. Maybe it's because she didn't like it. She felt like everybody else did. But she really would defend people, like, I think you hurt me so-and-so. She looked like she's upset leaving the church. You better call her. Oh, so it's not a perfect world. It's not a perfect podcast. It's not a perfect host for sure. I'm amazed that anybody wants to tune in and listen to this old man, but I'm thankful that they do. A little bit, broski, a little bit. I've looked at. It's been a busy week, and I'm not lying. I'm not making that up. We've had to redo some scheduling this with my wife getting her where she needs to be. And I've been really pushing through some of that. And so there's the biscuit boy coming through the door.
Hey.
We'll get off here in a minute. We got to reset for the 8:30 show. But a good discussion this morning, but I am looking into it, broski. I am looking into it. It's not that I didn't know anything about it, but I had looked at it to the level that you had for sure. And I do want to do a show about it. Absolutely. We're going to have a show, hopefully this week, or this next week, rather, that we'll just talk about that. One night, we'll talk about that. I'm trying to get back. It's just getting balance in my life. I'm trying to get back to where, and I've gotten away from it. I want to get back and talk about political issues daily, if it's just a half hour. And so I'll try to do that this week. So maybe along about, Wednesday's a good night to do that, or Friday. Jerry says, have a good day. We have one of our granddaughters with us today. Somebody please pray for me. I will be broke before the afternoon.
I hear you, bro.
Yeah, but you're going to have a great time with her. What's her name? Which granddaughter is it? Just say her first name or post her first name, Jerry. We'll give that young lady a shout out. So if you have time, if you're already gone, we're coming up on the top of the hour. Just wanted to get on and talk and share a few thoughts, and we did that.
There you go.
Biscuit Boy's here, so we'll get off and talk with him. I'm giving Jerry just a moment. I wanted to know what his granddaughter's first name was. We want to give that young lady a shout out. She's got to be awesome if she's descended from
Jerry.
Oh, he's got all three: Addie, Cammie, and Quinn. Shout out to all of them. Don't know if they can hear us, but we say, God bless you.
Amen.
We love you, Papa.
Amen.
He's an awesome dude. All right, we'll get off of here. It's good to see Paul come in the door. We're going to drink some coffee, chew the fat, flip the show
See
around,
y'all in a little bit.
and we'll do that. So let me pull up the song. Take care. And
Why does it